you know that Norway sells way more electric cars per capita than the U.S.? Norway. Well, I won't stand for it. Come on. Never mind. With GM's new Ultium battery, we're gonna crush those losers. Crush them!
I've got new Mountain Dew Zero Sugar with the same refreshing taste as the original, but without any of the sugar. Here's Mountain Dew Zero.
Little Caesar's delivery. That's the best thing since sliced bread.
We got a problem. There's a new best thing. New ideas. Go.
Travel size bread.
Sparkle bread.
Brown cuts.
Dear Lord. Run the numbers. And the numbers.
Run them again. Sliced bread is toast.
This is not happening. Everything is fine.
Little Caesar's delivery. Best thing since sliced bread.
Hey, Norway, listen up, you fish-loving... Oh, this place is adorable. Damn it. Where are you guys?
We're in Finland. Where are you?
I'm in Norway.
Norway? You're in Sweden.
Damn it.
This video is based on economies of scale, but it's looking at marketing economies of scale, and it's going to do so via the context of the Super Bowl. Now, you may have recognized some of those adverts because those adverts that were shown at the beginning of this video were all Super Bowl adverts. And the reason why I'm going to be considering the Super Bowl is because of the cost of the advertisement involved. So, for example, the price of a 30-second Super Bowl advert this year in 2021 on average was $5.6 million. So one of the examples or one of the adverts that was shown was this one with Will Ferrell based for GM Motors. Now the advert was 60 seconds and therefore it would have cost approximately $11.2 million just for a 60-second advertisement. Now you might be questioning, well, why would a company be willing to pay so much for a 60-second advert? And the reason is the exposure. So the Super Bowl in 2021 attracted 96.4 million viewers with a streamed average of 5.7 million and generated 127 billion potential impressions on social media. And therefore the exposure is absolutely huge.
Last year, the major Super Bowl commercials that were released before the game were already watched over 100 million times online by Friday before the game, according to a company that tracked the views across many different platforms. And social media engagement around the advertising has completely changed the game. A Stanford study showed that Budweiser's Super Bowl ads boosted its sales by almost twice what they spent on the commercials.
The CFO of PepsiCo, Hugh Johnston, actually gave the commercials on the Super Bowl credit for a 5.2% increase in sales.
Is she saying okay? No. Okay.
The price of participating in this advertising showcase continues to climb, even though viewership of the Super Bowl has fallen off.
You cannot ignore the Super Bowl. The stage is just too big. You can't. There was a time when you go, well, it's expensive. Is it worth it? It's worth it.
So when we're considering marketing economies of scale, we have to take into consideration unit cost. Now, the unit cost is the total cost divided by the output. Now, in this situation, we're already aware of the gigantic cost associated with advertisement at the Super Bowl. Now, that the fixed cost element of that marketing is obviously going to be huge, and if $5.6 million on average for just 30 seconds, then we can see the sheer size of the costs involved. So we are aware that total costs are going to increase. But as we've just seen, it is justified. And the reason it's justified is because of the demand it creates. And even though total cost is rising, it's justified because of the amount of units that are produced because of the demand for the goods, because of the exposure and the communication to customers who are watching these adverts. They would not pay that amount in terms of fixed costs if it wasn't going to generate such exposure and such demand that they are able to guarantee, obviously, the units that they produce will be bought and help with obviously reducing that unit cost, because the more output that is produced, then it'll spread out the unit cost and it'll spread out the long run average cost, as we can see in this diagram. Now, the average cost per unit is falling, as we can see from P1 to P2, and the quantity and the output is increasing at the same time. So we're achieving internally economies of scale. Now, again, when we're looking at the cost of this advertisement, clearly very established major multinational corporations are going to be the only companies that can afford to pay for that advertising. So economies of scale is a cost advantage of growing. It is a cost advantage of being a bigger company, because they can use their budget, their marketing budget, to be able to obviously afford the most effective marketing mediums. So when we're looking at the definition of marketing economies of scale, I'll just say again, it is an internal strategy. So it's the company's decision as to how they will use that marketing budget and the techniques that they will use. But in doing so, it'll help them to reduce their unit costs via effective marketing media. They can use their size, their dominance, to select the most effective marketing methods, whether that, for example, is choosing a sports event such as the Super Bowl, with the greatest global viewing figures and therefore help generate demand worldwide, or even using national media as a centralized advert for all their retailers. So regardless of how they do it, they might even be able to negotiate with some medias in terms of discounts on their advertisements, because again of their sheer size, or their ability to give regular advertisement payments to obviously show their adverts. They can do all that, and in doing so, it spreads their fixed costs of promotion over a larger level of output. Now, the example with regards to a centralized advert for all their retailers, the best example is McDonald's. When we think about McDonald's, and because of their franchise operation, they have McDonald's all over the country. But because they've got the same menu, they can just carry out an advert for all of their franchises, or their McDonald's outlets. So, for example, if they're advertising the Angus burger, then that's going to be advertising the Angus burger for every single McDonald's in the country. So that's another way how it helps to not only increase output, because obviously it's going to increase the popularity of the Angus burger, but it also spreads over those fixed costs for every single outlet of McDonald's in that country.